Hello everyone, I'm Taku. In the first two episodes, I talked about what PTG is and how we study PTG. So in this third episode, I want to talk about what the opposite of PTG is, or even if there is such a thing. Since the term PTG, or post-traumatic growth, first appeared in the literature in 1995, I think people have assumed PTG is the opposite of PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Perhaps we assumed that as a result of trauma, we could either experience PTSD as negative changes, or take another fork in the road to experience PTG as positive change. However, the research has disproven these assumptions. The overwhelming number of studies have shown a positive correlation or an inverted U-shaped curvilinear relationships between PTSD symptoms and PTG. So whether or not the trauma reaches the level of diagnosable PTSD, some traumatic impact is necessary to trigger the process of PTG. Therefore, trauma symptoms and PTG are not mutually exclusive but instead coexist. These seemingly counterintuitive results have been the foundation of the field of PTG research. So what if we turned the positive aspects of PTG on their head? As I mentioned in my second episode, we used the PTG inventory in our lab and asked people to fill it out. The 21 statements may include sentiments such as, I have a greater feeling of self-reliance as a result of my crisis, and I can better appreciate each day. A participant will respond with a 0 if they did not experience these changes at all, up to a 5 in which they experienced these changes to a great degree. These questions focus solely on positive change, or the lack thereof, and don't take into consideration negative changes that are also occurring. Since we know that these changes will simultaneously exist, Jennifer Baker, Caroline Kelly, Lawrence Calhoun, Ernie Kahn, and Rich Tedeschi wanted to determine what kind of results would be for the exact opposite of each question item. So, in addition to the statement such as, I have a greater feeling of self-reliance as a result of my crisis, they have included reverse items such as, I have a diminished feeling of self-reliance. Participants will respond to both, I can better appreciate each day, and I appreciate each day less than I did before. Positive statements are reversed into negative statements, which therefore focus on negative changes. These are categorized as post-traumatic depreciation or PTD. This means that PTD is therefore the linguistic opposite of PTG. However, after the collection of data, there was once again a positive correlation between PTD and PTG. People are experiencing both positive change and negative changes concurrently. What's more, PTG was related to lower levels of depression and higher levels of satisfaction when moderate and high levels of PTD are also recognized. In other words, PTG can have a stress buffering function when participants recognize both PTG and PTD, and when they do not deny negative changes. Although I want to talk more about PTD in the next episode, suffice to say, people just experience both, feeling stronger and feeling more vulnerable. Both aspects of changes are required for sustainable growth. Well, if all this is true, what is left as the opposite of PTG? My answer is it should be non-post-traumatic growth. So perhaps all growth that occurred without traumatic trigger. For example, people may experience growth after happy events, such as graduation, starting a family, getting promoted, and so forth. This can be happened even after peak events, say winning awards, joyful encounters, or conquering changes. These are called post-ecstatic growth. Another opposite option would be to investigate post-traumatic no change, which is clearly impossible because nothing is ever permanent. So I guess there is no opposite other than death. When we die, there is no more growth. So death could be the only possible option left for the pure opposite of PTG. Well, if you liked this episode and want to catch more, consider subscribing to my channel and email me if you have questions and visit our website at kanakotaku.com to get to know more about us. Thank you.